Welcome ENC students, this is your professor Michael Bloomingberg, and what I want to do with this video is show you the MyWritingLab and also let you know what I'm expecting from you regarding the lab. So what I've done here is I'm in the study by module screen, which when you go to your weekly folder, once you are registered, you can just go to your weekly folder and click the link, and it will always at that point pull up your study by module view, which is a good view for you to have because it has all 8 modules. I can't really get them all in the screen here, but it starts with basic grammar, goes all the way through and all the way down to essay development, which is the last module. So I'm just going to use basic grammar as the jumping on point, and I'm just going to show you a few things. The modules obviously have different content in them, but the layout and format is pretty much the same. So I'm going to start with basic grammar. And so let me adjust the camera a little bit. I know you're getting kind of a sideways view. I apologize for that. Tried to work the camera around but wasn't having any luck. But I think you're able to see visually what we're talking about. The first thing to notice is that over here you have a topics list. And for basic grammar, for example, you have 11 penciled topics. Those are little pencils there. The pencils, by the way, indicate that there's work that has to be done within each one of those topics. Now again, depending on the module you're working on, the topic list is going to be different. That's your actual content. So it starts with parts of speech, phrases, and clauses. The second one's subject and verbs, and it goes all the way down to prepositions, all 11. Over here, if I'm highlighted on parts of speech, phrases, and clauses as I am here, then the activities on the other side are going to match up to that particular topic. So you have some things to be aware of over here. You have overview and animation. These are super important because they introduce you to the actual lesson of the topic. The actual work comes in the form of what are called recall exercises, apply exercises, and most importantly, your post-test. Your post-test is the only thing that's going to give you the opportunity to change your pencil right over here into a star, or in other words, to show you that you have mastered this particular topic. So here are some things you need to know. Unless otherwise noted, and the only thing I could think of might be the essay development module, which is the very last module you'll do. Every single topic needs to be completed, so we're not skipping any topics unless otherwise noted. And I'll let you know if that ever happens, but again, I don't think we're going to do that at all except for possibly the last module that we do. So you're going to have to work through all these pencil topics, not just one. So you could do parts of speech, phrases, and clauses, but that doesn't mean you're done with basic grammar, the whole module. You have to do all 11 pencil topics, so it is quite intensive. So how do you change your pencils over here to stars, or at least have the potential to do it? Well, you start with your, I'm going to move the camera over a little. You start with your overview, so I'm going to click that. And then over here is the link, so you just click it, and it's kind of hard to see. I'll move the box up. It creates a whole new box, and you could actually have the audio played for you.
Overview, parts of speech, phrases, and clauses.
If you have a speaker on your computer, it's good to go ahead and use that, or if you don't like listening to it completely aloud, you can plug your headphones in, I guess, for that matter. But it's good to do that. You can listen. And when you go back to it, by the way, it's going to count your score as a 100. Even if you don't spend a lot of time in the overview, it still factors into your score, so it's an easy way to help your score. But more importantly, it gives you the lesson of each topic. There's also animation. Animation is pretty much the same as the overview. It's linked right here, except it gives it to you in an animated method. So I'll click it. And right here you can see if I push play, it pulls it up as a whole new window. Now you can kind of see how it works there. And again, there is audio with the lab. I'm going to just kick the volume down a little bit, but listen to it, really soak in the lesson, because that's going to be very important for your success on each one of these topics. So I'm going to click off of it. I'm going to go back over here. By the way, I don't know if you can see if I move the camera. On the far end of the screen as they go to Learning Path, you want to click that to always navigate back to where you were. So I'm going to click that, and it takes me right back where I was, and again gives me 100%. Here's where you need to listen very closely. Those are just the lessons themselves. There's no real work to be done other than just listening and learning the lesson. The real work starts to begin with recall, so I'm going to click on that. And with your recall, you have a series of 10 questions. The video can't get all the questions in, but you'll see these when you boot it up on your own. And you just click on each one of those questions. So I'll start with question 1. What it'll do, it's loading. I don't know if you can see that or not. And there is the actual question. They're always multiple choice. So which of the answers provided is a clause from the following sentence? And it gives you the example. You just pick the answer that you think is correct. And then down at the bottom, I'm gonna have to move the camera just a bit. Well, maybe it'd just work best if I explain it, because I'm going to be shuffling the camera too much otherwise. Once you select an answer, whatever one you think it is, there will be some options at the bottom that pop up. The one you want to look at is check answer, and that will let you know how you did on that particular question. And you go right on through. Up here at the top, it's really hard to see, I know. Let me see if I can at least help with that. Bear with me, I'm going to move the camera just ever so slightly. There we go. Now you can see up at the top is where you can move on to the next question and the next question, so on and so forth. So you check your answer, and I think it usually gives you 2 attempts to get the correct answer. And what you're going to want to do, now I'm going to click Save for Later, which is an option down at the bottom. And you can do that if you're working and you need to step away from the computer or go tend to other matters. You can do the Save for Later. So I'm going to go back to the Learning Path. You'll see it's read as incomplete because I didn't complete it. My score is 0, but once you complete it, it will give you a score. Listen very closely, because in the MyWritingLab, you need to make sure that your score is at least 80%. That will give you mastery over the recall, as well as the apply, as well as the post-test. The rule here is that you have to at least complete your recall and 1 apply. It's only 1 question, which doesn't look bad. These are the applies. Until you pull it up and you see you have a whole passage where you have to identify verbs in this case. You need to be careful with your applies, because if you're looking, whatever the task is having you do, you're looking at verbs. So maybe you look through and you see consist as a verb. I click it, it turns green. You can't see this, but at the bottom of your screen it tells you that your score is 10 and you have 9 remaining. But if I click on miles thinking that that's a verb, it's going to tell me I'm incorrect. You can't see this, but down at the bottom it actually took away from my score. So be very careful when it comes to your applies. You need to tread very carefully, because it's if you are, for example, looking for 10 verbs in a passage and you find 9 but you can't find the 10th, it's not a good idea to just go around clicking to try to find it, because it's going to kill your score or really hurt it badly. So if you get to that point, the best thing to do is just go ahead and click score this question and just take a little hit on that part, and but then you'll be fine later. And again, there's a Save for Later option there as well. So I'll go ahead and click on that. And we'll go back to the Learning Path. You are required to do 1 apply and 1 recall before you take a post-test. If you take a post-test before you do a recall and apply, chances are pretty good that I'm going to catch you and I'm going to nullify that post-test, even if you receive credit for it. So it is very important to note that. Post-test, you have to get 80%. So out of 10 questions, that means that you have to answer 8 of them correctly in order to get your mastery. Once you pull it up, just click I'm ready to start, and it will pull up. and again, it's multiple choice. So you choose the one that you think it is. Very important at the bottom of a post test when you answer, make sure you click next question. Don't click submit test, because if you do, it's only going to submit the one question that you've actually answered. Only click submit test when you've worked your way all the way through the 10 questions and you're ready to do that. And just to go back again, I'm going to I want to stay on the page. Don't do what I'm going to go back here. To the learning path. I want to stress to you that your post test is the only thing that will change this pencil to a star. Even though if you do well on the recall and apply, you still have to do well on the post test to get your full credit on that in terms of changing that over. I want to stress to you that it's very unlikely that you're going to get mastery on everything. If you don't get mastery, that is, okay, you do your recall and apply and you take a post test. Maybe you struggle. You get a 60, let's say. You need to go back and work on recall and apply again because you're struggling at that point with the lesson. If you take your post test again and you improve the second one from what was a 60 to, let's say you get a 70, it's not going to give you mastery over here, but it's going to factor into your score in the MyWritingLab. So at that point, if you've used all 2 of your post-test attempts and you haven't gotten your mastery, it's time to move on to the next topic, which is subjects and verbs, so on and so forth. So I hope that makes sense to you, but that's what I'm looking for. Do your recall and apply, then you can take a post-test. If you get your mastery, great, move on to the next topic. If you don't get your mastery, you need to slow down, look back again at overview and animation, try some more recall, try your other apply attempt, and then try your second post-test. Most times than not, you'll see improvement the second post-test over the first post-test. But again, everybody has strengths and weaknesses, so the chances are pretty good that you may not get mastery on every single thing, and that's not uncommon. The goal is, what are you learning and how are you improving? And that's what we're using this MyWritingLab to do. If you have any questions at all, feel free to contact me. I'm more than happy to explain. If you want to call during office hours and pull it up yourself so that we can walk through it, I'd be happy to do that with you. I hope you found this video helpful. I wish you the best of luck this semester with MyWritingLab. Again, you're starting with basic grammar, and remember that you have to complete all the topics. Good luck with everything, and more videos to come. Bye.